Hi everyone, this is the Canny Couple. I'm Julia. Erin is behind the camera today, and today we want to talk about how we save money on food on our homestead. But before we get started, please make sure you hit that like button, and we would really appreciate it if you subscribe. We actually just reached over 200, which we are very thankful for and very excited. So we really appreciate your support, and we hope we can keep providing you value. So how we save money on food on the homestead. I don't know about everybody else, but inflation is hurting everyone right now. Um, we feel it, we see it. What I used to spend $30 at the grocery store for is now costing me anywhere from 60 to 70. And we shop very conservatively, and we also shop very cheap. We will have like 3 bags of food, and it's $60. Um, so we do have a few strategies that do kind of help ease our grocery budget and our burdens. And these are strategies that are built for a homesteading family that is not 100% fully self-sufficient. Now, we will never be 100% fully self-sufficient, but our goal is to get as close as we absolutely can. And we want to be able to produce as much of our own food. Um, our poultry, that is a really big goal for us because we do eat a lot of chicken, a lot of turkey, a lot of poultry in our family. It's what our preference is for meat. We're not really a cow or a hog family. We tend to prefer the birds. But these tips that I'm going to give you have really helped us, and they've really eased not only my burden in the kitchen, but also the burden on our budget. So the first one is build a pantry. Everybody says this. This is so important. And this is not just groceries. This is also preserving your food. So we have a mixed pantry of food we have put away and food that we have bought on sale. If pasta is on sale, 50 cents a box. I'm not going to buy 2 boxes. I'm probably going to buy 10, if not 20. I have it built into my budget, my grocery budget, to have stockpile room. That's the reason I do that. When I see a really good deal like that on foods I know we're going to eat, I will go ahead and buy them in bulk. Same thing for peanut butter. You can ask Aaron. He thinks he should have gotten stock in peanut butter when we got together. He didn't realize I ate so much. But if it's on sale, I tend to buy a lot of it because peanut butter has gotten very expensive over the past few years. Crazy expensive. Now, when it comes to the other foods we preserve, I'm talking tomatoes and fruit. So, a little bit of background on our homestead, we have several fruit bearing bushes, trees, wild vines that produce fruit for us every year. Try to preserve as much of it as I can. I actually plan on putting some more systems into place this year that are actually going to help me get even more. Now, there is a time investment when you are preserving fruit and vegetables like tomatoes. To me, before last year, we would actually buy tomatoes in bulk. We would buy $8 for a box. I would get 10 quarts per box. So it was less than 50 cents a quart jar. To me, it was worth the investment, and it didn't really take me that much time because over the years I've developed systems and processes. Another thing you're going to hear a lot from us, that whenever I put them into place, it took as little time as possible, and I'll save that time somewhere else. It was worth it to me for my family to make that time investment. Same thing for apples, blueberries for Aaron. All these fruits that we have that grow on our homestead that we don't have to go source somewhere else. We don't have to go buy blueberries. If I did, I couldn't afford them because Aaron loves blueberries so much. There would be no way I could afford to get him the amount of blueberries he could eat. Hey, and I'm just being honest, aren't I?
Very.
So before we used to freeze them, now we actually can them. This saves us money, saves me freezer space. So it's a little bit of an investment, and it's no investment. It is really no investment. It takes hardly any time to take these extra steps for me. So I really find the easiest, most efficient way to do it for our family, what we're using it for, and go with that. My second point is going to be to shop the sales when you are buying groceries. I don't like to buy things when they're not on sale. And when they are on sale, I'm going to buy it as much as I can within their limits. And if it's a really good sale, I might even ask my father-in-law if it's something he doesn't go pick up to go pick me some up as well. So I can get it and have it on hand and on stock. I mean, if you shop the sales, you're going to save a lot more money. And I'm also not a brand snob. To me, Jolly Green Giant and the Food Club brand are basically the same. Never been a brand snob. It it doesn't seem like there's that much of a difference. And even nowadays, they're saying that most of the brands are actually the very same as the name brands. The off brands are the same. So I don't really see a difference. And if the price is twice as much, all you're doing is buying a name. And nobody who's going to eat that food knows you're buying that name. No one. So it's really not worth that cost. My third thing is going to be do not buy things you are not going to eat. Um, if you are buying food you're not going to eat, like we don't eat a lot of crunchy peanut butter, so that's not something I'm going to stockpile because we don't eat it. We also that there's just foods that we just prefer not to eat, like onions. A lot of homesteaders grow a lot of onions, have a lot of onions. We don't eat onions. I might buy a bag of onions a year, maybe. I actually think I only buy like 5 onions a year, and that's for Aaron's potato salad, and that's it. And he has forced me to make it. It's holidays, but we don't eat them, so I'm not going to waste the money to buy them and let them go bad. These are things that you have to think about. If you don't like rice and beans, do not have your stockpile built around rice and beans. Your pantry should be a working pantry. So don't fill it with things you're actually not going to eat, or you have to go spend more money for the next week on food you will eat or your family will eat. Another part of that is if only one person in your family is going to eat it, don't buy a huge amount of something that is perishable or is not going to last for very long-term storage if only one person is going to eat it. It's going to cost you more money in the long run. And now my fourth point is probably the most controversial. And when I say bulk cooking, I'm not talking bulk cooking like I'm going to make 10 meals on one day. I'm talking one really big meal. So, how we save time and money on our homestead for food is I make one meal a week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have that planned out. I do make some variations on the weekends, something a little different, like hamburgers or pigs in a blanket, something of that nature. On the weekend, something fun and easy. But during the week, I keep it very simple. We make one really big bulk meal, and that's what we have for dinner. Same thing for lunch and breakfast. It's not the same meal for all 3 meals. We have like oatmeal or breakfast casserole. We'll have tortilla wraps or homemade hot pockets for lunch. And for dinner, we'll have a casserole or something of that nature. Now, we will portion it out, put some in the refrigerator, some in the freezer. When it's time to eat that portion for that day, I'll pull it out of the freezer or the refrigerator, and that's what we will have. Understand this is not for everybody. A lot of people don't like leftovers. I came from a family that did not like leftovers, but I also came from a family where I was one of 6 children, and when we cooked very big meals. We did not cook small meals. So there were 8 of us sometimes in the home. Most of the time there were 6. So because there were so many of us, I didn't know how to cook a small meal. And when I got with Aaron, we were wasting food because I couldn't cook for 2 people. I don't know how to cook for 2 people, but I know how to cook for a large family. I know how to cook large meals. And what this does is, as a working homesteader and a working mom, it gives me so much extra time to focus on my job, my homestead, and my baby, and my husband. These are all important. I'm not having to spend 30 minutes every evening right after work cooking because that meal's already done. All I have to do is heat it up, or it's already heated up. I mean, these are all the things that are very important to me, and this is time savings. Now, I don't make meals we don't like. That's important. They're also very flavorful. That's like Aaron's number one rule when it comes to food. Has to have a lot of flavor. I can't feed him chicken and dumplings, but maybe once a year, once every 2 years. It's not his favorite meal. So I tend to rotate meals that I know we all really like. And they all have a lot of flavor. You can also bulk up a large meal with vegetables. So we do lots of one pot meals. So I will add more vegetables. This week we're having Mexican rice. So I'm going to have beans in there. I'm going to have corn. We'll have some chicken. It will have tomatoes. So we're going to really bulk that up. And it's not that much more expensive because you can even add other vegetables that are on sale into this if you're buying from the grocery store, other vegetables you have on hand in your pantry. It's so easy. It takes very little extra effort for me personally to cook a very large meal as opposed to a very small meal. Now, again, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, this is terrible. I have family members that think I'm a horrible person for making Aaron eat the same dinner 3 nights in a row. He was actually the one that came up with this. I was spending so much extra time in the kitchen that he was like, why can't we just have leftovers? I like this meal. Can't we just fix it for the entire week and save that time and the money? And then I only spend a few hours on Sunday cooking all or prepping all 3 meals, and that saves us so much time. So for me, the time I'm going to save, the money I'm going to save by doing this amount of bulk cooking that we do is worth it. Now for you, do a large meal, put it in the freezer for 2 weeks from now. You don't have to do it like we do it. This is just how we do it because this is our preference. But if I make a huge meal and it makes way too much, I'll put it in the freezer and that's what we'll have on a weekend a couple weeks from now. We don't have to eat it all right then. It's just right now, it works out really well for us to have these same meals for a few days until the weekend, and it works. But you can change this anyway because you can make a huge pot of spaghetti, put half of it in the freezer, and then you have meals for the next few days. It's really something to think about and something to consider. Bulk cooking doesn't have to be cooking 10 meals in your kitchen and taking 5 to 6 hours to cook those meals. Just double the meal you're cooking. Put half of it in the freezer. Pull that half out when you had a busy day. When your homestead is crazy, you have that option. Something really to consider. So I hope these tips help you and give you some sort of guidance on to help, lower your grocery costs, your food costs in general. And as always, please make sure you check out our link tree. And thank you for joining us on the Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.